This is the Saturday Morning Serial Podcast with your host, Amanda Ann. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Christmas edition of Saturday Morning Serial. I'm Amanda Ann, and today I am super excited because my friend Matty and I are going to count down our top 5 favorite Christmas films and why we like them so much. Because let's be real here, it's not Christmas without watching your favorite holiday movies, right? But just before we get into the discussion, next week I will be attending C2E2 here in Chicago. I will be there on Friday and Saturday, and I will be making a kind of like a recap episode on my podcast next week of the events of that. And also, if you want to follow along, I will be vlogging my experience, and I will leave a link in the description here for the YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's get into our Christmas discussion. And like I said, I am here with my good friend Matty. And Matty, welcome to the podcast. I know you're like my number one fan, so this is awesome.
No problem. I'm so glad to be here. So happy to be here finally.
Yeah. I know, and I really appreciate your support and glad that you were able to come on because you are such a big fan of Christmas and just Christmas movies, everything Christmas, right?
I am at Christmas everything. We do the Disney thing, and we like to decorate the night of Halloween for Christmas. So we're big on Christmas in this house.
Yeah, you guys are decorated on November 1st. You're good to go.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys, my listeners, if you guys have seen videos of the Disney parks from Halloween night into November 1st, it's pretty incredible what they can accomplish in that short amount of time.
Oh, it's magic. Yeah.
So, but anyway, going on to our top 5 favorite films. And Christmas is a time for just spending with family, friends, and just making memories. And personally, my earliest memories are from like past Christmases with my family. And one big thing we always did was we sat and we watched Christmas movies. Not only do a lot of these films have amazing storylines, great talent, just everything, like memorable quotes and scenes. And I'm sure people like myself remember sitting down and watching a particular film with your family and or a movie reminding you of that one time. And Maddie, what influenced your top 5 films? Is it like the story themes, sentimental value, the actors? What is it?
I want to say it's got to be the family elements of most of them. There are a few in there that just hold dear because of sentimental reasons other than family, but most of them are family, and they most likely have a story of when I remember seeing them the day of and things of that matter. But yes, I think family is what it all boils down to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just when you're young and you watch with your brothers and sisters and just have that moment, I guess. It's so great. And I just remember, like we would sit Christmas Eve waiting for Santa Claus. My brother, sister, and I, we would make like a fort. My sister and I had bunk beds, so we would make a fort out of that and just kind of wait for Santa Claus the next day. But we would turn on like Rugrats Christmas Vacation and just little cartoons like and Arthur, the Aardvark on PBS.
Oh,
that Christmas special. So even like the kiddie Christmas shows and films I go back to, even though I'm like 39 years old.
Yeah, the girls, because we have our movie nights on Fridays, and I'm trying to make all of our movie nights this month to be all Christmas oriented, and they haven't seen the classic Christmases like The Year Without a Santa Claus or Frosty the Snowman or
Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yeah, they haven't seen any of those. So I think we're going to have a night where we just watch those classic ones because it's been a while since I've watched them as well.
Mm-hmm. Those are oldies but goodies.
Yes.
And if you get the DVDs of them, there's like some good behind the scenes.
Really?
Features on them. Yeah.
We do have the DVDs.
You do? Okay, because I bought like a value pack from Walmart on Black Friday like a couple years ago. And Mike and his sister and her husband, we all sat at a cabin and watch these behind the scenes, and it was like kind of trippy, but cool how they kind of took that old technology and tried to make it what it was.
Oh, cool. I'll have to look
Yeah,
into those for sure.
yeah, because the stop motion animation was pretty impressive for its time, probably.
Yeah, it was probably for that time. It had to have been groundbreaking things that people have never seen before.
Yeah, and they're such a classic. Like the stories, I can't even imagine my life without like those films for Christmas. I know it sounds really kind of crazy, but
No, yeah, I totally agree. I don't know. Oh man, I don't want to give away too much, but so I don't know if any of those classic films are in yours. Just say yes or no if any of
they
the
are.
classic
Yeah,
ones. Oh, okay, then
there's one.
okay. I was gonna say I was gonna go over because those are not in any of mine, but I do have a favorite of that bunch.
Mm-hmm. What's that one?
So, oh, mine is Frosty the Snowman. I don't
Okay,
know
yeah,
if it's
that's a good one.
considered. I don't know if it's considered one of those classic ones because it's not really. But I know it's in that group, like
It
that
is,
value. It
yeah.
is a value pack one.
Mm-hmm.
But Frosty the Snowman was always mine. I always loved Frosty.
Yeah. Did you see Frosty Returns?
No.
Oh, that one is a good one too. It's very modern. It's 2D, and they consider it like a sequel, but it's a 2D animation, just kind of like a short film, probably like a 20-minute film. But it's really funny. I loved it. That's probably my
Oh.
favorite one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Say I know that a couple years ago they not remade, but they did something with like Heat Miser and Snow Miser again,
Oh, yeah.
and
It's on Freeform.
it looked really weird. So I stayed
Hmm.
away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's start. Maddie, what is your number 5?
My number 5 all time favorite Christmas movie is Elf.
Mm-hmm.
Elf. I remember the day that I saw it. I don't know what I was doing with my family, but well, Elf came out in I believe 2003, so I was 13 at the time, and I had gotten in trouble because my brother and I were fighting, and my parents said we're going to the movies, we're gonna go see Elf, and I was so upset because I was just mad that I got in trouble. So they forced me to go see the movie, and I remember walking out of the movie and saying that I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why. I don't know why, but it always reminds me of that day every time I watch Elf.
Elf is actually one of my honorable mentions.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I do love that film. And it's funny because your story of what like the sentimental value it holds for you, it's like the
Hmm.
same story for me with my number 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Elf, yeah, Elf is a great film, and like I said, it's got the most I think it's got one of the most memorable quotes in a
Uh,
Christmas film, or
oh my
even just a film
gosh.
in general.
I'm trying to guess which one. Either oh my gosh, I can't even think of the quote. The Christmas cheer one. I can't think of it. Oh my gosh. Is that the
Oh,
one you're talking about?
oh, just all of them. Like the
Oh, yes.
narwhal, like
Oh,
"Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad."
it does. It's very quotable. Yes.
Yeah,
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. That's the one I was trying to think of.
yeah.
Yes. Oh man, such a good movie. I think it was just so not groundbreaking, but I remember
It was so
thinking to
original.
myself, yeah, I remember thinking to myself though when I was watching it, like how they made Will Ferrell so much bigger than everybody else, and when you go back and there's special features for that movie, um, and when you watch them, you could see how they made him so much bigger, but
Hmm.
just through forced perspective, like the
Oh
way that
yeah.
you see things like in the Harry Potter films when you see how big Hagrid is
Hmm.
compared to Harry Potter and all those children is the same thing that they did for Elf, and it's amazing how they did it. The movie
Yeah,
magic.
exactly. Yeah, how the camera just is shot, that
Yes.
angle, it just makes all the difference.
Yes, and then just oh my gosh, I mean John Favreau just being an excellent director of
Yeah,
many genre. He's just it's just an amazing movie.
yeah, it
It
really
just
is.
it always makes me happy. And the girls,
Hmm.
Zosha has seen it. For some people listening, I have two girls and they're 5 and 3, and Zosha has seen it. She's my oldest, and Amelia has not seen it yet. but I think that that might not be one that we do for movie night, but it's definitely going to be one that is watched during the season. I think we watched it back in July too.
Mm-hmm. And one of the great things about that film, though, too, is like you literally can watch it at any age because it does have humor for all ages.
Yes, it
But
does.
still, like, if Amelia was going to watch it, all the adult humor will just go over her head, but she will laugh at the narwhal or just like the squirrel attacking Buddy, like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think she'll really
So,
like. I think she'll really like the fact that when he's eating the spaghetti and it has
yeah.
pop tarts and M&Ms and syrup in it, I think she'll
Yep.
laugh.
Yep.
What is? I don't know if you're ready to move on, but what is your number 5? I'm so anxious to hear this
Oh,
story
yes.
now.
So, my number 5 is the Polar Express.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
I kind of had the same story. So, I love animated films.
Yes.
I studied animation a little bit in college. And so backstory here. I was 14 when this movie came out because it came out in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're 14, you don't want to do anything. You just want to like stay at home and be on, AIM, Instant Messenger with your friends, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I remember my dad saying, "We're going to go see this film." And my brother was really big into trains and like Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff. And him and my dad loved trains. And, my dad just wanted to have a nice family outing seeing this like train Christmas film, right? So I'm like, oh God, I don't want to go. So, they pretty much dragged me. But when I came out, I was blown away.
Oh, that's
Just
wonderful.
by the animation was like just a next level for me. It was made by, I think it was like in conjunction with Warner Brothers, but it was like a entity called, let me look it up here, I got it right here. Castle Rock Entertainment. So it was their first animated film, and you have Tom Hanks in it, so automatically you got America's acting dad in the film. So it just radiated comfort. And the music, but for me, like the story was okay, right? But I feel like because of just the animation, the color, the lighting and rendering of the film, and the sound, like the music, oh my gosh, that Josh Groban song gets me every time I listen to it. It just made the movie for me. Plus, it just reminds me of my little brother. My brother is, I think, 26 now, but when I watch this film, I just think of that like little 10, 11-year-old boy with my parents bought the bell for him from that movie. So he had that, and it's just like a sentimental value right there.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
The I actually have a confession. I have never seen the Polar Express.
Well, we have it, so if you ever, I think we have it on Blu-ray.
I'm thinking. I was just talking to Sam about it today. Sam is my wife, for listeners. I was talking to Sam about it today because I was telling her the list of movies that I have for our movie nights, and I think we're gonna do it for one of the movie nights, but it's gonna be where I know they have things where whether you can go on like the train ride or.
Oh yeah.
I've always been interested because just Sam's never seen it either, so nobody in our house has ever seen it. So we're like, let's go big with this. I just hope that, and I know so many people like it, so there's no way it's just built up that enough people like this movie that it is an actual good movie. There are things about. I mean, I don't know when the book came out, but I know it's an old story. Like people have been reading this and finally able to watch it on their televisions.
Oh yeah.
But I am very excited to see it. I would say that it's at the top of my list for the Christmas season that I need to watch this movie because I'm missing out.
There's a Metro line in downtown Chicago at one of the train stations. They have a Polar Express type of experience for kids.
Oh, okay. Do they show the film later on, or do they?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I know a couple of our family members have done it before in the past. But yeah, it is based off the 1985 children's book.
Oh, 1985. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even that old. Wow.
No.
So yeah, even if we don't end up doing the experience part of it, I know that we intend to, because I think Imagine already sells tickets for it right now, that if we wanted to buy our tickets, we can go see it.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to see that. So good pick for that 5th one, because I know that a lot of people like that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I mean, the story, it's not the best, but overall, it just has like that family comforting vibe to it. It's just when you watch a film, you know you connect with it somehow.
Yes.
So, what is your number four, Maddie?
My number four is I know so I haven't seen this movie in a while actually, but I know I really really like this movie. And it's Scrooged.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen
I've
that
not
one.
seen that one. Nope.
Okay, so it came out in 1988. It does star Bill Murray,
Okay.
which I mean, some would say is America's sweetheart as well because everybody loves a Bill Murray movie. But it stars Bill Murray, and it's a rendition. Sorry, it's a rendition of the story of Ebenezer Scrooge and the Christmas Carol. And I've just always liked that story, all the different reimaginings of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's really cool seeing the way that it's told through Scrooge. It's very, like most of the time a Christmas Carol is being told, it's very heartfelt in the end, and it always has some type of family meaning as well. Um, but I just love the way that the comedy comes out through Bill Murray because, like, I like Bill Murray. I'm not a huge Bill Murray fan, but I love Bill Murray in this movie, and I don't think anybody else could have played his character the way that he plays his character.
I'll have to put that one on my list because I've seen it advertised before,
Yeah,
so I know what you're talking about.
and I wish I could talk more about it, but it's probably been a good 6 or 7 years since I've seen it. But
Mm-hmm.
I know it's one of those movies that every time I watch it, I say, how do I not watch this movie more because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's one of those.
Okay. Okay.
What is your
Very
number four?
good. My number four, so we're going back to that those stop animated films, is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from
Oh,
1964. And it's
oh,
interesting because I put this right under the Polar Express because both films are pretty much stop motion. It's
yeah,
just Polar Express is more modern, obviously, because Rudolph was made in 1964. Like I said, they really didn't have the materials we have today, so they made this really cute, adorable little reindeer, this whole story out of what they had. And it's just such a classic. The Island of Misfit Toys, Santa Claus, the elves. I mean, that's a Christmas film. If I
it
have to
really is.
define a Christmas film, it's going to be that Rudolph film.
It's yeah, it's nostalgic. Like even if you have never seen that movie, everybody knows the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So you're always able to go back and have some type of um I guess connection to it. Whether you've seen it or not, you know that you know this character.
And they pretty much like branded Rudolph, I feel like. When you see like a just a render of Rudolph on a piece of like merchandise or a Christmas whatever, that it's from that film.
Yeah,
It's artwork from that film. So it's basically, they made Rudolph into what he is.
I never even
They
thought
just
about that.
emphasized that character from a song and they made it their own, and that's what is for like the Rudolph of today. So it's like whether or not you have seen the movie, you have seen Rudolph.
Yeah, that's completely true.
Yeah.
That's completely true. Yeah, that's amazing. I never thought about that way.
And when I was young, it just this too like brings in the sentimental value is I had these on VHS tapes. And it's
Oh, okay.
funny because before I moved out, I was looking through, we still have like maybe just a little pile of VHS tapes back at home. But my Rudolph VHS tape is so worn out from watching it all the time during Christmas because I just loved it. And I loved the music so much as a child. And it's like, I just can vision myself in my living room, just singing along to the songs and watching it. Sometimes maybe my parents would come and join us watching it, like, or my mom would be watching. She'd be washing dishes in the kitchen, and she would have it on too.
Is it a musical?
There's some songs in it, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I was under the impression that it was just a story.
No, they sing in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
that'll be one
actually a
that.
really funny part, and for you choir folks out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the elves sing, and my choir director used to always rag on the tenor section all the time. I felt so bad for those boys, but he would always just yell at them. And this elf will go, like, he goes, the tenor section was weak. So we were like, yep, that's, I'm not going to say his name on here. I don't want to, but that's him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
think that'll definitely be one of the ones that we watch with the classic films.
yeah.
Because
It
I
just
think it's
has a lot of sentimental value and creativity.
because it is a shorter film, right? Like it's not a
Yeah.
short film, but it's not like it's like an hour and 20 minutes long. It's
No, it's like 20 minutes.
okay,
Not
yeah.
even. Yeah.
So that'd be a movie night where we watch multiple movies like those
Mm-hmm.
classics.
Oh, you can watch all those classics in like an hour.
That'd be great. That's great timing for us.
Right. All right, let's move on to your number 3.
All right. So my number 3, this is where it's starting to get into most of those movies that I think a lot of people share.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie came out in 1990. So we were either just born. No, we were just born.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Chris Columbus, and this movie is Home Alone. And I just like you had said, Rudolph Renner's in there. Everybody sees this movie as Christmas. That's the epitome of Christmas. And like Home Alone, I think, is another one of those movies that when you think Christmas, this is another one of those movies that automatically comes to your mind. Is Home Alone. Mm-hmm. There's no sentimental story for me, but it is another one of those movies that it comes down to family. Like you may want to be left alone, like Kevin McAllister wanted to be left alone, but at the end of the day, you want your family by your side to be there with you on Christmas Day, and some of us aren't fortunate enough to have that, but a lot of us do, and it's wonderful to have on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm.
So actually, Home Alone 1 and 2 are my number 2.
Oh my gosh, two is good as well.
Yeah, I couldn't pick. I can't pick. I have both of them on Blu-ray. I watch them back to back all the time, and it's like you said with these films. I mean, the family value of it is great. The message is fantastic, especially the first one too. And it's kind of hard for me to watch the first one because I lost my grandpa and I was really close with him, and that ending really gets me. So it's like now it's kind of hard for me to watch, but I particularly really like the second one because I love New York City. Okay. Besides Disney, New York City is my favorite place ever. And I love him just running around New York and seeing all the different. But the thing is with those movies is that the jokes never get old ever.
No, they don't.
I've seen these movies 8,000 times. I still laugh at every single joke, but I always find something different. Something I never noticed before. Even if it's not even a joke, there's something that you'll find or something that you'll notice and you'll say, "Oh, that's how they did that." Mm-hmm. Like this is. I feel like every time I watch this movie and somebody's with me, I have to point it out. Even Sam's probably heard me say this probably a dozen times. Do you know that that's not snow that's in the movie? Oh, really? It's salt. Well, I'll do you one better too. Oh, I can't wait. The Christmas store that he goes into in the second one. Okay. Almost all that film was made in Chicago. Really? Mm-hmm. So the interior of it or the exterior? Both. No way. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a Chicago street. Some of those cabs are Chicago cabs, painted like NYC cabs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I didn't know that. Have you been to the McAllister house? No, but it's on my bucket list. Ooh, man, it's so cool. Yeah, I had now that I live up in the suburbs, I feel like we could totally take a drive over there. I think it's probably only a half-hour drive from you guys. I had the opportunity of working 2 minutes from there. Oh, wow. So I had told my foreman, because I'm in construction, I called my foreman and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be a few minutes late." And he just said, "Okay, whatever, take your time, get here when you get here." And then
I went to the house. I went to the McAllister house and I took pictures and I put my hands on my cheeks and looked like Kevin screaming. And then I got back to the job, or not back, but I got to the job, and he said, "Oh, was traffic bad?" I said, "No, traffic was fine. I just stopped off at the Home Alone house. It's 2 minutes away." And he said, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yeah, I did. Here's the pictures." And he said, "Oh my gosh, what's the address? I'm gonna go right now."
Yeah.
So it became a thing on this job site
And they just sold that house too not too long ago. I thought I saw.
that I believe so.
There's
Two
people
point,
living in there, yeah.
I think 2 point something million is
Oh,
what
I'm
it went
sure.
for. Yeah, so
I
I'll
always
take.
wondered what his dad did in the film to
He had,
afford like a nice big house like that, but then
yeah,
also to take a family of like 1,000 to Paris or something.
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's seriously, it's one of those things that you think about.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I mean, the acting all around. I mean, Catherine O'Hara is just
Oh,
amazing in it,
love her.
and Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci just work so well together, and
Mhm.
it's
Oh
just
gosh, I miss them.
their characters are just so
Yeah.
funny, and even you even laugh at, like we had said, the jokes still hit right. Like even when we see them get hurt and we know it's coming, it's still just something you laugh at
Mhm.
every time because
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
classic. It's just classic comedy, good family comedy.
For all ages.
Yes.
So good. Macaulay Culkin, that was like the top of his career too. He was just
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh, he's amazing
Richie
too.
Rich, that was like one of his films in that era.
Yeah, a lot of
Short
people have
Lived for
never,
Christmas.
like, not to veer off Christmas, but yeah, Richie Rich is a great movie that not a lot of people have seen. I'm like,
Yeah.
how have you not? This movie's so good.
Uncle Buck.
Oh yes.
Um, can't think of any more right now, but I'm sure there's a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let me go back. We'll go back to my number three here. That was my
Yeah.
number two. That was Maddie's number three. So my number three is Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Ooh, that's such a good one.
It's a classic. Such
It's
a we just watched it last night.
oh nice.
I just love it so much. I mean, obviously I'm a huge Disney fan, so Disney
Absolutely.
I grew up with Disney, everything Christmas just you know, just brought the Disney forward even more for me in life because there's nothing magical than Disney and Christmas
Oh
together,
yes.
especially if you
Yes.
go to the parks too. Oh my god. Like I always associate Christmas with Disney in some way. And whether it's the parks or it's just the Mickey cartoons, I love this Christmas Carol because, it's just all of the classic characters telling the story of Scrooge and something we just all know. And like you said, there's many renditions of this story, but it just hits different when it's Mickey Mouse, right?
Absolutely. Anything does with
and
Mickey Mouse is in it.
Yeah, and it's just another show that my family and I would sit down and watch, or like I would pop in the VHS tape, and my brother and sister would join me, and we'd watch it, and yeah, it's just such a classic, and I really don't have much of a big reason why, but it's just sentimental value all
Yeah.
around.
I mean, being Mickey and Christmas is already said enough. Like you said, there's, Disney itself is one thing, and Christmas itself is one thing that you're just so excited about. But when you got Disney and Christmas together, oh,
Yeah.
breathtaking. To
Hmm.
see that, to see that castle, to see Cinderella's castle during Christmas time and Main Street USA
Yeah.
during Christmas time, it's oh, breathtaking. I can cry right now just thinking
Oh,
about
I know. I'm trying not to. I'm literally holding in the tears.
it. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and
It's
I actually, it's funny because I went to the Disney store when I had an internship a couple years ago downtown Chicago.
mhm.
So I had a Disney store right at my disposal. So
Ooh,
I
that's
randomly,
dangerous.
I know, I randomly went in there one day and they had the figurine set of all the characters from the Christmas Carol, the Mickey's Christmas
Oh,
Carol. So I have that, and I was so excited. Like I was by myself and I was like, "Oh my god." So I got like looks, but I'm just like, "You don't understand. I love this."
no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have I think my mom got it for me when I was really young, and it's an ornament of Scrooge McDuck, and he's a ghost. No, he's not a ghost. It could have been Scrooge then. It was Goofy. It was
Oh, yeah,
Goofy as a
yep,
ghost.
yep.
Yes, it was Goofy as a
Like Bob
ghost.
Marley.
Yes. So that's the ornament that I have, and I still have it today that I still hang up every year.
Mike
And
loves Goofy and that part.
oh
He's
man.
like, tonight you'll be visited by 3 spirits, and he only holds 2 fingers up. Such an
I
animated character classic thing to do.
I'll have to gift that ornament to him because it's it's an ornament that I've had for a long time, but it's one of those ones that I'm like, yeah, I like this movie. I love this movie,
Mm-hmm.
but to have somebody who has more sentimental value to it, especially towards the character in the movie, I would definitely give it to him. So
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm gonna have to find that for him and give it
That's really sweet. But yeah, and then also too, they have like Jiminy Cricket, the giant. I don't know if you guys ever saw like Mickey and the Beanstalk.
We haven't
That's a
watched that one.
very classic cartoon. It's
Ooh.
one you can't find. They have kind of like a new rendition of it on Disney Plus. It's like part of this thing called like Fancy Free or something like that. It's like
Hmm.
it's got puppets. And I don't like puppets. They're creepy to me. But yeah, I had the whole thing on VHS. So I don't know if you can find it on YouTube, but the
Okay.
giant from that is in the Christmas Carol as well. So it's
Ah.
just like such a great gathering of all these
Yes.
classic, because you see Horace and Clarabelle. They don't have any parts, but you see them in the background. I just love it.
And yeah, those are characters that I mean, especially Clarabelle, you don't see too often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Toad.
great.
Yeah. So, Maddie, what is your number 2?
Okay, so my number two, man, this was so hard to pick between my number one and number two, but this number two, um, I think this movie came out in 1996, and it is Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way is my
I
number two.
I thought it was either going to be your number 2 or your number 1. I knew it was going to be
Oh,
high up there.
it is. Yeah, it was so hard to pick between the ones that I have, but yes, Jingle All the Way is my number two. I've just growing up, I was always a huge fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't know why because he's not a great actor by any means. He started in action, and we all know him as an action hero, and I think that's where it started for me because when I was younger, my grandfather would watch me or babysit me, and his type of babysitting was just tossing on a movie and sitting me in front of the TV, which probably isn't great. And what made it even worse is that the movies he would turn on for me were like Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and RoboCop, just highly violent films. So I think from the get go, being younger, I was always drawn to Arnold Schwarzenegger because he was that action hero when we were growing
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And when he broke out into comedy and said that he was going to do Jingle All the Way, I saw it. Not I don't know about opening day or anything like that, but I know I saw it in theaters and just being in awe, just complete awe that this man is in a family film and it's Christmas time and it's probably besides Home Alone, it's probably one of the oldest Christmas films, or I guess not oldest, but it just resides in my memory as being something that I hold dear. Um, and it's just so funny. The Turbo Man itself, like my grandfather who showed me those movies, inappropriate movies when I was younger, he actually gave me my first Turbo Man when I was younger, and they were a Walmart exclusive thing. They were only released at Walmart's, and he gave it to me, but it was missing a couple pieces.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
So Mike and I saw a Turbo Man at Walmart the other day, and we thought of you.
Oh man, that's so great. It's such a good conversation starter, and it's such a good piece to have to display for people. But yeah, my grandfather gave me it when I was younger, and it didn't have all the pieces. Some of the pieces were missing. Some of the like weapons that he has. So Funko just re-released them. Like you said, you had seen them at Walmart. It's still a Walmart exclusive thing that you can only get there. But
oh, really?
yeah, you can only get them at Walmart.
Oh, dang.
And so when they got re-released, I actually purchased one, and then my mother-in-law purchased another one for me, and so now I have two. Now I have three total.
Nice.
One of them that's missing the pieces. One of them that stays in the box, just looks nice, and then the other one I took out of the box, and he has all of his parts and all of his
Hmm.
gadgets, and it's just it's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yes, and
I know. I was looking at the
it's
one you had in your kitchen the other day.
yeah. And what's funny is that I think I had three separate conversations about that Turbo Man, that just how cool he is. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's awesome.
and
That's
I
a good
mean,
film. I need to sit down
it's
and watch it again.
yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I think it's one that I want to show the girls as well. I think Zosha will understand a lot of it because I
Hmm.
mean, it came out in '96, so we were 6 years old or five or
Yep.
six, pushing that area. Um, and so Zosha's 5, so I think she'll really enjoy it. I don't know about Amelia yet, but if she doesn't like it, whatever, she can go
Hmm.
watch something else.
Now she'll like it in the future.
Yes,
She'll
definitely.
understand it.
I would ask you what your number 2 is, but now we got through your number 2.
Hmm. So, do you go ahead and reveal your number one?
Okay, so my number 1 is a Disney film.
Okay.
It came out in 1992, and you said you were freaked out by puppets, so you may not like this movie, but it is a Muppets Christmas Carol.
That's my honorable mentions.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because that's one we
Yes.
had on all the time too.
See, I think that like we had talked about, that the Christmas Carol story and the different reimaginings and retellings of it. This one sticks a little more truer to the source material of,
Hmm.
especially like the time period and everything that it takes place. But it's just, and I was never a big Muppets fan either. Like, so I don't know why I enjoyed this movie so much. Muppet Babies, I really liked. I don't know
Hmm.
if you watched Muppet Babies or
I
not.
did, yeah, yeah.
It was so good.
Well, and I think Maddie, the thing with the Muppets for us is we kind of were introduced to them too late. I feel like everybody before us, boomers and people that were born in like the 70s and the 80s, I feel like they had their time with the Muppets, and the Muppets were just kind of starting to fade out a little bit in our childhood. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I knew who the Muppets were. I had a couple episodes on tape, and we always had this Christmas Carol one on. This
Mm,
one, and then there was like a couple other Muppet shows we would have, like Muppets in Manhattan, that kind of stuff, and
yeah.
Muppet Babies. And I love Kermit, and I love Fozzie Bear. But yeah, the Muppets just they're not like too big in our age group, I feel like.
No, they're not. Sam and I were actually like it veers off from Muppets Christmas Carol, but Sam and I were having a conversation about the Muppets 3D show that's at
Yes.
Disney, that's in Hollywood Studios,
Mhm.
and we're like, it's such a big area. Why don't they just tear it down? No, my kids don't know who the Muppets are,
Mhm.
and it's something that I guess maybe they're keeping around for older generations who want to see it, but it doesn't seem. I feel like every time I go there, there's no wait to watch that show.
I
So I
do
feel like
that
it's
just to
almost
rest my feet and get air conditioned for a little bit. It's like carousel of progress for me.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
But
my nap time.
yeah, you're right. It's that older generation, and it kind of veered off from us. And I feel like my kids don't understand or know what the Muppets are,
Hmm.
um, other than the fact that I make everybody watch a Muppets Christmas Carol every year.
Yeah,
But
but Michael Caine is so good in that, though.
oh my gosh,
Like, can
he
we talk
really
about
is.
him?
I feel like it's one of those movies that I saw when I was younger. We probably saw this when we were 3, 4, 5, maybe,
Yeah, something like that.
and it wasn't something that I really really appreciated until I was maybe 14 or 15 and
Hmm.
started to really like it and understand more about it. And
And I
I
think that's the case with all Muppet shows and movies. Is there's actually some pretty adult content in them, especially the older
yeah.
Muppet shows. Mike and I were watching them on Disney Plus one time, and I'm just like, whoa.
Say we watched the Muppets Haunted Mansion special that they did,
Yeah, that was good.
and I liked it. It
Yeah.
was fun. It's not something that I'm probably going to rewatch over and over, but it's
Same.
something that I'll watch, like maybe like I'll put it in my circulation for Halloween time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, my kids, the girls still didn't like it. They weren't too crazy about it.
I really liked the Muppets that came out with Amy Adams in it.
I haven't seen that one. Sam, we own it. It's on my movie
Mhm.
shelf right now, but I've
It's
never watched it.
it's really good. I didn't like the sequel to that one, and I can't think of it. I think it's like Muppets Most Wanted or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I was just kind of like meh about, even though Tom Hiddleston's in it, but still, it was like,
When you guys when you guys took your Disney cruise, did you guys do the detective story that you walk around the ship?
we didn't know.
Okay, so there's two stories that you could do. There's one story that it's like somebody took the Dalmatians and you have to figure out which Disney villain took the Dalmatians. And then there's another one that is geared towards the Muppets. And the girls love doing that.
Oh
It's
wow,
just
didn't know that. We
yeah,
were all
it's
about
oh
the
man.
trivia.
Oh, the trivia is amazing. I love the trivia, the game shows, and everything like that.
So,
Um,
Maddie, would you say the Muppets Christmas Carol would that be more of than just like a sentimental value, or is it
um,
because of like the story and the actors?
I think it's the story, and then as I got older, it became the actors, and then
Mm-hmm.
when I got even older, it became about these songs that are in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it feels like Christmas is something that we love to play in our house, and only one more sleep till Christmas, and these songs that you didn't really appreciate when you were younger because they weren't as fun. You know, Lin Manuel Miranda didn't write them,
Exactly.
but I I'm not sure who wrote the soundtrack for this, but it's fantastic. The
Mm-hmm.
songs are great, and it's something that I appreciate now more than I did when I was younger. And it's so yeah, it's not it's less towards sentimental and just more of an appreciation as I've gotten older.
And that's so cool that you kind of brought this up. It not even just with Christmas films, but any film that you loved as a child and you still fiercely love today. It's so cool how you can go from liking it in a different way. When you're a
Oh
kid, you
yeah,
like it because of like X. When you're like a teenager or a middle-aged adult, you like it because of Y. And then when you're older, you like it because, Z.
yeah,
It's so great. It's almost like
absolutely,
rediscovering your favorite film. And,
yeah.
and it's the feeling too. Like, I love it when I'm watching something I grew up with. And, like, yeah, let's take the Muppets, for example, right? And it's like all of a sudden you find yourself loving the music over the storyline. And it's just so thrilling to just like fall in love with something again, but for
Yeah,
something totally different in that film.
it really is
Yeah.
because you could just I could just point out maybe I can't remember the main one of the actresses' names that's in the film in A Christmas Carol or the Muppets Christmas Carol, but I know that when I see her, the character that Ebenezer was in love with when he was younger, it's just like she does a fantastic job, and she has a song that I never liked when I was younger because it was just a slow song and
Mm-hmm.
it was just boring. And now I'm older and I listen to these words and I say, wow, the 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 anguish she feels and just it's just amazing.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
incredible.
agree.
But it's an appreciation that I have now for sure.
Yeah, it's just like all about like the more experiences you have as a person, as a human being, the more you resonate with something.
Mhm.
So yeah, like if you didn't resonate with something as a kid, you probably will now, and that's great. So that's a great choice.
Thank you, thank you. What is your number one film? I'm excited for this.
And I think it's everybody's pretty much like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh
Mic drop.
man. Oh man, yes, absolutely.
It is,
Which
and this is so funny because from the day Mike and I started dating, it's funny how similar our families are. It with like not only is there 2 girls, 1 boy in my family, but his family has 2 girls, 1 boy. All like
Yeah.
he's the youngest, my brother's the youngest. It's just so funny. But I would watch my family and I would watch Christmas Vacation every time it was on TV. I am 31 years old. I still laugh at everything, even though it shouldn't be funny to me anymore. It's still hilarious to me. I quote it all year round.
Yeah.
And
So when
it's
you
funny because Mike's family is the exact same way. So both of our families, like it's just this film is just like a part of us.
Yeah, when you had said that Elf was one of those movies that you can quote,
Hmm.
I think that this is also one of those movies that people love to quote during Christmas time.
This movie takes the cake. And
Yeah.
it's not even just Christmas. Like I'll find myself during the year going like, "Don't throw me down, Clark," or
Yeah.
you
Is
know,
your house on fire, Clark?
it's
Yeah.
yeah. Did you move to Florida? I hope I'm Aunt Bethany
Oh
when I'm
yeah.
old.
Why
I
is
will
the
be the one saying the Pledge of Allegiance during Grace.
why is the carpet all wet, Todd? Yeah.
No, Margot.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
this is another one of those movies too that when you're younger, you don't really realize I mean, you know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
but some of those jokes they just don't hit on the head as a child. And now that we're older in our 30s, you
Yep.
watch this movie and you say, "Wow, I can't believe I
Whoa.
watched this movie." Yeah.
Yeah. Or like my parents would cover our eyes during that pool part.
Oh yes.
But just like the stuff that comes out of Cousin Eddie's mouth too. As an adult, I still find things I never noticed before. Like this past time I watched it with my mom last weekend. He
Okay.
said something to Clark that I did not catch before. I started dying. I mean, but you have to remember though, when it's on cable network, they water it down.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like a lot of the times I've watched it has been on like AMC
Oh,
or something.
it's almost a sin to not watch it without some of the things that they try to put in
Yeah.
there.
Well, we had like 2 copies of it on DVD, and I have a copy myself here. So it's actually streaming on HBO Max, and it's not the watered down version.
Oh, wonderful.
I was like, thank you.
So
Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
another one of
hallelujah, holy shit. That's what I say. Oh, I say that all the time. That's like ingrained into my vocabulary.
it's such a good one.
But like
So
the
yeah,
acting in it too is just top notch.
it
Oh
really
my
is.
gosh,
It's
from them to like Chevy Chase, to the grandparents, to the kids, Aunt Bethany, Dennis Quaid as cousin Eddie. Oh my god.
oh
I'm like
yeah, that's Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid. I'm sorry. Yeah,
So Dennis Quaid's got an amazing smile, but
yeah.
um,
Quaid's mixed up. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I can talk about this movie for a very long time.
it's so fantastic because
Yeah. And everything in that movie, you can relate to something that happened to you.
yeah.
Whether it's
I
the
mean,
dog going through your trash, or like, you forget a saw to chop your tree down. Like, it's just so relatable.
the hooking up the Christmas lights and having one bulb be the nuisance of the entire thing. And
Yep.
I love when he something that we do often in our house that quotes this movie is every time Clark yells for Russ and he yells Russ and he's like, "I'm right next to you, Dad."
Mm-hmm.
We do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
um
Yeah.
I also, oh god, there's so many things I like about this movie. I love that Aunt Bethany gives them the Jello mold and it's got the cat food in it.
We have a lot of cats in our family. Like, I had a cat growing up, and then, like, now my brother and my sister both have cats. My mom has a little kitten. So we're always, always watching those Christmas tree lights. Always. Because that, like, haunts us.
Yeah.
The meow.
I saw
Right,
that
pussycat.
I saw that somebody on Etsy actually has made a like a decoration and it looks like a burn mark that you just lay on your
Oh
carpet
my god.
and it's the outline of the cat and I'm like, oh, that's
Mhm.
so funny. That's so funny. Um,
And this movie just like brought like a plethora of merchandise, like the moose eggnog glasses, the
yeah,
Blackhawks Griswold jerseys. Like, I have people that don't even live in Chicago or Illinois for that matter that are like, we would love to have that Blackhawks jersey that says Griswold on it.
yeah. So, would you have you seen all the vacation films? Would you
I
say that this is
have.
your Would you say that this is your favorite one?
Oh yeah.
See, I've met a lot of people who still like to defend the first vacation, and I'm like, have you not seen Christmas Vacation? Because
The
it's
only
definitely the best one.
Right, and the only thing though I do find weird is like and I think it's a running gag. Now that I really think about it, I think it's a running gag because the children are always different.
They are.
Yeah,
See, I think Juliet Lewis plays the daughter in Christmas Vacation in this one,
yeah,
and yeah, it's a funny thing.
yeah, and
Something something that I never really appreciated until I got older of that film as well is the opening credits, how they're animated.
yeah,
So I always loved it, and then the song too, the Christmas Vacation song
yep,
from the opening credits, just such a good, just gets you.
yeah, and it's just the thing, yeah, with the songs too, like the song, it's that time, like at the beginning of,
Mm-hmm.
and then Home Alone too, that nobody wants to be alone on Christmas. That's like one of my
Mm,
jams. I love that.
yeah, they're good
The
all year
Polar
round.
Express has that Believe song by Josh Groban. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, obviously, that has its own song. I mean, these movies bring these classic Christmas songs too that
They
you
do,
can find on the radio.
they do.
So it's just all around, just Christmas movies are just so special.
They are. They just. I feel like there's not too many that are not even if it's one of the worst Christmas movies you've ever seen. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about it that's gonna make you say, "Oh, I kind of like that."
Listen, I'm not going to hate on Hallmark,
Yes, people are crazy about the Hallmark Christmas movies, and
but they're all the same.
are they? I've
They
never seen
literally
them.
are. Now, I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it. I don't like saying anything bad. I critique. That's what I do.
Yeah,
But my grandma loves the Hallmark Channel. She loves all those shows. Back in the day too,
yeah,
we would just watch those movies. But unfortunately, they do have that really cute holiday vibe to them.
yeah,
That they got the Christmas bell songs like do 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 do, like it's cute and it really does get you in the spirit somewhat. But when you're looking for like a really good Christmas film to sit down and watch, you don't want to be watching the same thing over and over. And that's pretty much what these are. Like, you have this like girl who's single, but yeah, she's well established, and then she meets like a farm boy down the street and they fall in love. Like, I don't mean to sound terrible with that, but that's basically and I feel like maybe that's their brand. That's the Hallmark brand.
yeah.
So I don't
They
know.
I they probably figure, hey, these are pretty successful. Let's just do it again, and let's do it
Hmm.
again for next year too, and the year
Yeah,
after that as well. I
yeah,
think we should make a goal for ourselves this Christmas season to at least watch one new Hallmark Christmas film and just critique it to see if it's as predictable or as cliche as we think they are, because I feel like I talk a lot of crap about them as well,
hmm,
but I've never actually watched them. So maybe we should watch one.
I will definitely do that. Challenge accepted. I'm seeing my grandma this weekend, so I will ask her what's a good one. She will tell me what a good Christmas Hallmark movie is because she knows all of them, guarantee.
That'd be
There's
a
a film we actually watched on Hallmark like a long time ago. It was called The Christmas Shoes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that movie.
That sounds
It's a
familiar.
popular Christmas movie. Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry. It was not on Hallmark, but it was on Lifetime, which is pretty much like the same
I thought they
thing.
were the same channel.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just such a sad movie. I'm not going to tell you why if you haven't watched it. I don't want to spoil it. I'm just warning you, it is extremely sad. And especially if you're a parent, it can be
Oh
a little
no.
triggering. But oh my God, like we were bawling. Me, my
Oh
sister, and my
wow.
grandma are crying. My grandpa comes out like half asleep. This is probably like 10 o'clock at night. He comes out like half asleep. He's like, the hell's the matter with you? So it's like
It's
that
so.
movie sucked, but we still had that memory with
Was
that
this
film.
movie was this movie sad like from the get go, or did
Yeah.
it? ramp. Oh wow,
Yeah, it was sad from the get go. But my
I
grandma
want to
wanted to
watch it now.
watch it, and yeah, it's called The Christmas Shoes.
The Christmas shoes.
Yeah.
Noted. Noted.
Yep.
Um. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to watch one of those movies this season. I'm gonna make myself watch one at least.
Okay, Maddie.
Um.
So when I get back home on Sunday night, I will tell you what my grandma tells me to watch.
I would. Awesome.
I'm serious. I'm
I'm game for that.
serious about this.
I'm game for it.
All right.
Um. Did you have any more honorable mentions, like something that didn't make your list that
I
you had to?
did. So the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh, that's on my honorable mention as well.
Yep.
Such a
The
good
first
film.
and the second one.
That's another one that there was a lot of jokes that hit differently once I got older, and just the the stories about divorce, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, I
It's
didn't even
deep.
know that divorce was a thing when I was younger. So that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
I always
yeah,
thought it was weird how his dad lived here and his mom lived here and they're fighting.
yeah, because I mean, what they came out in 94, 95, so we were
Yeah,
4 or 5.
we were
It's just
young. Yeah.
yeah, oh, such a good film though. Zosha likes that one as well, and
Mhm.
Amelia. So yeah, it's good. It hits for a 3-year-old as well.
So I got Love Actually.
That's on my as well. That was actually
Mhm.
my number. So Christmas Vacation was my number 6,
Okay.
and Love Actually is my number 7.
Okay. That's such a great one. And I'm a big Alan Rickman fan, so
Oof,
he's in it.
absolutely.
Anything
He's
he's in, I'm just like gone.
which is so interesting because his character is just not good in that movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's so good. I feel like there's too many like there's a lot of movies, not a lot, I guess, but there's a handful of movies that can pull off that big cast of people and with
Mhm.
multiple stories going on.
Yep.
And I feel like that Love Actually is one of those movies that delivers a good storyline that ties in some of these characters at the end.
Mhm.
There are a few storylines that I'm like, oh my gosh, I want more of this person. Like Colin Firth's, I love
Oh yeah.
Colin Firth's. And if
Yeah.
you don't like Hugh Grant and Natalie's characters, like there's something wrong with you because their characters are great as well.
I just love the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
all
for
in
me,
all.
there's no sentimental value to it, but I love it because of the actors, the talent in that
Oh,
film.
and
They bring it.
Bill
Yeah.
Nye. Oh, he's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
How old were you with the first time you saw that movie?
Oh, I actually saw it very recently. I probably
Ooh,
saw it when I was like maybe 25,
okay.
20. Yeah, when I really started like kind of branching off, and because I went back to school and I majored in media studies, so it's like I pretty much concentrated in animation and graphic design, but I
Mhm.
also studied like different like forms of media
Yeah.
and just taking in different kinds. It doesn't even matter if a movie appeals to you or not. Just like even like foreign videos. Like I had to watch like foreign movies just to get in. So I was just kind of I saw a movie and I was like, hey, what the heck? I'll watch it.
Yeah.
No movie's
Uh,
never a waste of your time unless
Absolutely
it's
not.
whatever. But always
I
give it a chance.
I still even if the moment somebody tells me that a movie's bad, I want to watch it because
Same,
I
same.
wanna I wanna make my opinion. I want to make the opinion for myself.
Hmm.
Make my own opinion about it.
Yeah,
And even if I agree, I'm like, yeah, that's a bad movie. I will still try to find at least one good thing about it because there has to be a reason why they made this movie. So I try to find one good thing about it,
hmm,
and then one, if it has multiple bad things, at least I have one good thing that came out of this movie.
right, exactly.
Um, but yeah, Love Actually, I think I saw when I was maybe 19 or 20,
Hmm.
and I remember liking it, and then
Yeah.
I kept watching it. Maybe it was an every other year type movie, but then now it's a once a year thing, maybe twice a year. I
Oh
could
yeah.
watch it in the middle of June, July, what it doesn't matter what month it is, but I could watch this movie whenever and just like it all the time.
Hmm. Oh yeah. And the more we
Um,
talk about these movies, the more I just want to sit down and watch
I
them.
know. I don't. I think, yeah, I definitely want to watch Love Actually is one of those ones, but I also want to rewatch the Mickey's Christmas Carol or Mickey.
Yeah.
What is it called? The number two?
Oh, the Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, Mickey's Christmas Carol. Okay,
Yeah.
I definitely want to rewatch that. It's been a while since we watched that one.
Mhm.
Um, I
So,
have I have two more honorable mentions that I'm not sure if you've seen one of them.
okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I figure one you've definitely seen, which is Die Hard.
I was gonna say that was my very, very last honorable
Uh,
mention, and
that
there
is
was
my
gonna
number
be
10.
so many people disappointed that I did not include Die Hard in this podcast.
And it's like,
So,
look, it is a good movie. It's great. It's fun. It's action packed. It's
oh
funny.
god,
I
it's
actually
such a
I didn't see it for the first time until last year. Sam and I watched it.
okay. I watched
So
it too pretty older.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's one of those ones that I was like, why didn't I? How is it taking me this long to watch this movie? I love this movie. It's so
it's so
good.
good.
Um, but yeah, so that was my number 10. My number 8 film is something that most people haven't seen, and it's called Surviving Christmas.
Okay, I've not seen that.
So it's came out in 2004, and it stars Ben Affleck, Christina Applegate, Catherine O'Hara, and James Gandolfini.
Okay.
And it is about Ben Affleck's character. Takes place in Chicago. Ben Affleck's character is a super rich, successful man, but he wants to marry this girl, and he wants to take her to, I don't know, somewhere tropical. And she says, "No, I want to be with my family for Christmas." And he says, "What? No, screw family," because he doesn't have any family.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to go back to his childhood house, and he pays James Gandolfini and his family to be his family for Christmas. And just everything goes wrong, and it's one of those underrated bad films because it doesn't necessarily have a great rating.
Mm-hmm.
It's got pretty low ratings, but I think it's a very good Christmas film, and it does have another tie-in of family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely one that I would say add to the list to watch eventually. Maybe not this season because it is one that you have to force yourself to watch, but once you watch it, you're gonna enjoy it.
Okay. Noted.
So that's actually my top 10. That was my
Okay.
top 10.
Yeah, that's fine. We love honorable mentions.
Absolutely.
It's hard to pick just five, especially when it comes to just holiday films. I had a really hard time with my Halloween episode coming up with
Yeah.
five because horror and Halloween are like my holiday. But I found myself being it like having a worse time with these Christmas films. I'm
Yeah,
just like, oh my god, because they're all good.
they are.
I
They're
just
just,
yeah.
and each movie has a different meaning to every single person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, yeah, it's one person's number 8 could be somebody's number 1, and it's
Exactly. But it's the fact that everybody just enjoys them, and a lot of people can quote them and just have a great time. Like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You can be with a group of friends and just start quoting the hell out of that movie.
yep. You know,
And you guys just start laughing.
yeah,
Because and that's the best part of these Christmas films is just getting together with family and friends, watching them laughing, especially if you've seen them, when you were a kid, you grew up with these movies. You guys can all quote them together, just have a great time. Even have like parties themed after them. I mean, whatever tickles your fancy.
oh yeah,
Maddie, we
absolutely.
are running out of time, but I really, really appreciate you coming on. This was so much fun.
Oh, it was a blast.
I
Thank you for
love talking
having
about
me.
Christmas movies,
Yes.
especially with
Uh,
you.
I mean, it was a blast. It was a blast. I
Yeah,
can't say anything more than that. I had such fun,
great.
and just just talking about these movies, and like you said, I want to watch every single one of these movies tonight if I could.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and with that, I hope you guys all have a great week. And like I said, if you're going to be at C2E2, make sure you stop by and say hi. Mike and I will be wearing our Saturday Morning Serial Podcast t shirts. So, and I'll talk to you next time.